Hey y'all, I hope everyone is getting some seeds and some soil or some water or some other medium if you're growing hydroponically. I decided to grow indoors more seriously and more intentionally this for the first time this year, and I decided to record that so I can share that with you all. Like I mentioned in my March summary time-lapse video that I posted yesterday, sometimes it's hard to see past the moment, especially in the beginning when it seems like nothing's happening. So that's the main reason I wanted to kind of just really watch my seedlings grow. You may have noticed that I've had these seedlings flat against the shelf, and I started wondering at this point if they were getting leggy, especially because the ones on these beans on the left side are getting pretty tall. So I did elevate them at this point. I put them on some old plastic containers from food products that I plan to use for more seedlings. At this point, I realized that the beans are just tall, so I took them off the container, and I realized that also at this point that I'm going to have to start transitioning these to be outdoors earlier than I had initially planned. At this point, I have 100% growth in all of these cups. Meaning that everything has grown. However, I put 2 seeds in every cup, so not every seed has germinated, but I do have at least one of everything at this point. So I was really excited about this. I had forgotten what this was. This is zucchini. But yeah, overall, this shelf is doing excellent. I had also forgotten what this back cup was, which is lemon cucumbers, which are my favorite cucumbers. Now, a lot of these I haven't even tried, so I may have a new favorite after this. So I'm looking forward to trying a lot of these new things. Yes, these are little tendrils on these cucumbers, so they're going to want to start climbing and latching onto things pretty soon, so they definitely need to go outdoors soon. I had forgotten I had just watered these from the bottom, so I spilled a little water on myself at this point, so I didn't finish this video clip. The little tendrils are on the cucumbers and some peas. I see the Oregon pea over here has some of those tendrils, so they're for climbing and vining. They seemed a little dry, so I put a little more water in there, so I got myself again. Most of these look ready to go outdoors, and it's actually warm enough outdoors, but they have to be acclimated to being outdoors because they haven't had direct sunlight exposure. So I'll have to do a little bit at a time, like start off with maybe 30 minutes a day and increase that by 30 minutes to an hour every day until they're outdoors for at least 6 to 8 hours a day, and then they would be fully transitioned to go outdoors, like they could stay outdoors. So it's a process. So this is my middle shelf with just peppers and tomatoes, and they are on a heat pad. The sweetie tomato was the first to sprout, and this is out there about a week. The shelf isn't very high, so it's a very tight space to try to get into, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So I was checking every single cup, especially since the sweetie had already sprouted. But so far, it's the only one that has sprouted. I also elevate the baskets at this point because I was worried about legginess, but I forgot to elevate the heat mat. It took days, but I finally realized I needed to elevate the heat mat. But I did have a few sprouts before I did that. I'm not sure if this caused a setback or not. Things did start looking better after the heat mat was elevated, but that could just be a coincidence. It could have been just a part of the process. These seeds have been in the soil for a little over a week at this point, and most seeds tend to germinate within 3 to 14 days. Some seeds do take longer. It's just depending on the seed. So look at your seed packs or do some research about that. So the germination rate. I finally got some growth on the cayenne, but still none on the habanero or the California Wonder, which is a tomato. Now it could just be because these seeds aren't ready yet, the conditions aren't ideal for it, or they just may be bad seeds or duds. Fortunately, everything else is looking really good. I put 2 seeds in every cup, and most of them are at 100% germination. But these seedlings, I can keep in these cups for an extended period. I probably can keep them indoors until May, and then I'll acclimate them to going outdoors. And I am keeping them indoors primarily, or trying to keep them indoors as long as possible, because my seedlings indoors are actually doing much better than the ones outdoors. I am excited to have my outdoor greenhouse grow station, which I'll share more with you all as I start growing more things in there. But the weather was being a little dramatic over the past month. We had some nights in the 30s, including some nights in the 40s earlier this week. But we are now safely in the 50s and 60s as our lows at night. So we're past our frost, most likely. So I want to do more things outdoors, but I'm definitely enjoying growing indoors too, despite the gnats. On the bottom shelf is beans and peas. I do have a few peas and beans on the top shelf, but this whole shelf right here is just beans and peas. These were planted at least a week after the other ones, but you can see they're sprouting really quickly. Well, all of them except the contender bean. And that could be a germination issue. Maybe it takes longer for it to germinate. It could be not the ideal conditions. Maybe I need a heat mat for it. We'll see, because I'm going to try new seeds if this one doesn't germinate. And there are 2 seeds in each of, or 2 beans or peas in each of these cups. So the germination isn't all that great for any of them. It's below 50% out of, I think only one of them, the front one on the right, has 2 sprouts. The leaves on these sprouts are also very large, so that can crowd the other ones out, blocking the light so the other ones may not thrive like they should, or it'll slow down their growth or prevent their growth. So these are definitely on their way to being outdoors. I'm starting that process today. I had originally planned to document this process for at least 6 to 8 weeks, but since some of these seedlings are so large, I'm going to go ahead and start that process of moving them outdoors. So all of this is going to be rearranged, but I will keep documenting the progress and sharing that with you all. Thanks for watching.